Well, state lawmakers heard passionate testimony opposing geothermal exploration by the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. As Mahealani Richardson tells us, the list of possible sites are growing. Mahea.
Well, Ash, DHHL is asking the legislature for $15 million to study geothermal and says beneficiary meetings will start in April and May. But critics say they were blindsided.
Invoking decades of opposition to geothermal, some testifiers demanded no more drilling to House lawmakers on the Committee on Energy and Environmental Protection.
That is HEVA, that is uncalled for, and I oppose DHHL doing this continuously to our families.
Another 800 meters and there's another layer, and then we go down to the third layer.
The Department of Hawaiian Homelands has looked at geothermal energy within an indigenous tribe in New Zealand. It wants to study 12 potential geothermal sites statewide and is asking for $15 million. The sites are on all major islands except Lanai and Ihau. There are several potential sites on Hawaii Island where there's already a geothermal plant in Puna. Sites on Oahu include Lualualei, Waianae Valley, Waimanalo, Haiku Valley, and Waiahole.
This was not even brought to the attention of the beneficiaries in Keaukaha.
Opponents had concerns about water, air, and cultural sites. One woman reminded lawmakers of the rocks and ash that recently rained down onto communities near Kilauea.
Especially on Mokuokeave with an active tutupele, if that doesn't tell you that she's mad and to stop fracking her.
Another testifier, Alice Kim, in written testimony, said a geothermal resource could potentially provide DHHL a revenue stream, lower electricity costs for beneficiaries, and pay for home construction.
Now, lawmakers forwarded bills, including House Bill 1982, for further discussion. Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.